Hey, what up, my peeps? You got Sarge coming at you. This is gonna be my 8-day cruise trip report to the Eastern Caribbean Sea. Uh, it was freaking awesome. Okay, I got my hands full of notes, so let's get at it. All right. So, uh, yeah, like I said, it was. I just got off an 8-day Eastern Caribbean cruise aboard Royal Caribbean on the aboard the Harmony of the Sea, which is a big ass ship. Okay, that boat, let me tell you, that is huge. I think the carrying capacity is about 6,000 people, and I'm not gonna get too deep into the boat. You guys can go online and look up videos on it and check it out. But I will say this in reference to it: when are on board that ship, you tend to forget that you're actually at sea on board a ship, because there are different areas, such as like the Central Park area, just literally gives you a feel like you're in friggin' Central Park, New York City. And also there's the indoor mall, I think the Broadwalk. Guys, it's freaking crazy. So if you want to go cruising on a real nice cruise ship, I would highly recommend that one. So enough said about the boat. Uh, it's just a big ass boat. uh, let's see. So yeah, the wife and I went on this cruise to celebrate our 31st anniversary. Uh, 31 and still going strong. So hey, how about that? All right. Okay, so day one, we had left port. It was going to be 2 days at sea when we pulled out of the port of Galveston. Uh, and our first stop was going to be Coco Key in the Bahamas. Okay, they call it a perfect day at Coco Bay. I'm not going to get into much of the, the different stops along the way, but that was going to be our first stop. But I'm going to give you just a little preview of our battle rhythm. And I picked this up from going on cruise. You got to kind of, just like in the military when we get deployed, initially you got to do a whole bunch of different stuff, but eventually you get your battle rhythm going, your nightly routine, your norm. And for us, our nightly routine first was dinner at 8 p.m. That's when we normally do dinner. Then we do a show in the main theater. And then after the show, we'll go back to the room, change. And by 11 o'clock, we'll be hitting the Casino Royale. Okay? So, yeah. And that was a nightly routine. Whether we docked at a port or we was at sea, that was our nightly routine. So it's good to, that way you know what you're doing, and, you get a rhythm going. So, let's see. So let me give you a little detail what I picked up on the table. They have two tables. Both of them are 12-foot tables. Good neutral bounce surface. They don't have any bonus whatsoever. No ATS, no repeaters, no anything. The only thing they have is hop beds. And I was warned by my buddy Alfredo, Texas crap shooter, that they are anal, very anal about the dice hitting the back wall. And I'll get to that here in a minute and elaborate on that some more. But they, if the dice don't hit the back wall, they call it frigging no roll, so, which kind of screwed up my game a little, because I wasn't accustomed of that, So, all right. So, yeah. So that just sets the stage there a little. And then, so for those of you that follow me and probably watch a few of my videos leading up to this, one of my biggest fear in getting ready for this trip was bankroll management. 8 days at sea, with limited funds can be a bitch if you blow it up front and then don't have any money. So I actually had a plan, to manage my bankroll, which was going to be the plan was going to be to hit the tables with about 200 to 300 bucks nightly, and play for 2 hours, see how long it lasts, and if I blew through that bankroll for the night, the 200, 300 bucks, that would be it. Take my ass to the room, go do something else or whatever, go go look at the sea because there was plenty to see outside. Okay, and then my real plan that again I had practiced for was on the last day of the crew was to break in my main envelope and whip out 3,000 bucks, hit the table, and really play at the level that I wanted to, which was going to be close to 640 across or something like that. Okay. However, the best laid plan quickly went out the window on day one, because I ended up immediately on house money and never really broke in my envelope. So I'll go into that more in detail, but let's walk through it. So here goes. On day one, when I hit up the tables that night at 11 p.m., which was a day at sea when we had left port and all that, I bought in for 200 bucks and colored up for 275. So not bad. I was just feeling out the tables, trying to get my bearings about the table, feel the surface out and everything, and quickly came to realize, hey, this is a good neutral bounce surface, and I liked it. Okay, I had a 11, a 15, and a 5 roller, and the table was fairly packed, but I quickly was able to discern the shooters from the non-shooters, and we did have some very good shooters at the tables. Once you get on a cruise like that, you quickly end up with a group, okay, every night of the same people, and you learn who is who, and everybody's, we build a nice little camaraderie between us, because it would be the same faces every night, and you walk up, hey, how's the table going? It's like, man, we could use your help about now, and stuff like that. So got to know them folks real well. So that was the first night, day one, 275 colored up. However, the very frustrating thing that I learned that first night was what was pissing me off was the dealers was calling a bunch of no roll. And guys, if you see me throw the chopper, if you seen the chopper thrown by myself or Cashier Cage, who is laying it down proper, the dice will just trickle up to the back wall and just touch the back wall. Every time the dice did that, they called a no roll, and the fucking dice would be right against the wall. The last time it happened, I think I had my 6 pressed up to like 120 bucks, and I had $10 on the hard 6, and they called a no roll. I said, are you fucking kidding me? Look at the dice. Look at the dice. There's like that one dice didn't hit the back wall. I was like, dude, the dice are there's like, no. I said the dice hit the back wall and came. No, I was like, okay, you know what? And when you start getting into an argument, the negative vibes around the table and all that, it just draws the energy down, because I was having a pretty decent roll. And again, this was the first night. So, and of course, right after that, what happened? 7th out. Left a shitload of money on the table. I had my bets pressed up nicely. Like I said, I colored up 275. I probably could have walked away from the table with about 600 or 700 that first night. But again, this no roll shit, boat dice, their thing on Royale, and I guess I heard there's a couple of ships out there like that. They are anal about boat dice hitting the back wall, or else they'll call a no roll every time and twice on Sunday. So, oh well, fuck it. So that really pissed me off. I mean, I left the table at night just being so freaking pissed. I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this because I'm throwing the chopper. The chopper's laying down proper, and you know I'm getting heat from the pit about dice not touching the back wall when they clearly are. But okay, I like okay, fuck it, whatever. So anyhow, that was day one. Let's move on. Day two. Okay, day two. Uh, Same routine: dinner, a show, hit the casino by 11. Okay, this was another day at sea. Uh, Bought in for 200. That night, call it up for 1,300. Okay, call it up for 1,300. All rolls were double digit, and I had one roll, 122 roller. Okay, so shot real well that night. I'll elaborate a little bit more on that too. I pressed my bets up like a maniac, then regressed, and it worked brilliantly. Soon when the dice came to my press, and then just did a big regression. I think I took my bets up to, again, I think the 10 was probably at one point, the 10 was at 100, and the 6 and 8 was at 120. And because I was throwing my Kissing 3 set, I was ending up with a bunch of horn numbers, but the roll was decent. I was doing good with it. So, and then I was like, you know what, screw this. Take me down, make me look like 66 inside. And about the time I said that, Big Red came knocking. So I had regressed, perfect regression. Okay. And I made sure both dice hit the back wall. However, here's the kicker. Here's what I decided to do to ensure both dice got to the back wall. I switched to par. Yep, I abandoned the chopper and went to a par toss. Hey, sometime this shit and that we do in the DI world, okay, dice controlling, dice influence, whatever you want to call it. Sometime you have to think through it, okay. And I was like, okay, because the toss that I normally use is a gentle toss, the chopper that just taps the back wall lightly. And I was like, okay. And that was already stuck in my head. Didn't want to hear the pit boss yelling at me, no roll, no roll, no roll, over and over. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go to a 3-finger grip par, and I got a pretty, I don't practice it, but I can throw it when I need to. Sometimes I throw it from the end, or actually since I was in my stick right 2 spot, I threw it from there. And all the rolls that I just told you about, those double digit roll and the 22 roller was done using a 3-finger par type shot. It just, and the dice, and I picked it up from Ed at Roll to Win. It's a low kind of line drive toss. When Ed first burst on the scene, he was throwing this par toss. His toss. I think he still does it now, and lands them right about 2 to 3 inches from the back wall, which is where we all try to land them anyhow. But Ed seemed to put a lot more, I don't know what I want to say, velocity, kind of low line drive toss. And that's what I adapted into my toss, and that's how I throw it when I have to throw par. Okay? It doesn't come in with a nice big high arc. It kind of, gets there with a quickness. Okay, so anyhow, so call it up that night, like I said, for 1,300. And then, let's see. I was thinking, okay, so I'm up. I got another 6 days ahead. This was day 2. So my good friend George from CY, I could hear his voice in the background going, Sarge, stay humble to the dice. Don't get too cocky. Thinking that you're gonna have a great perfect night and you're gonna keep pressing your bets and all that stuff. And so I always kept that. So that's why I would press. Then I was like, okay, you know what? let me take something off the table, and it worked out brilliantly. So, like I said, so that was day two. Okay, let's go down. Let's keep it going. Day three. Okay, again, day three we docked in the Bahamas at Cocoa Bay, or Cocoa Key. They call it a perfect day at Cocoa Bay. We went a little excursion where you go on the. We went to Hideaway Beach. Uh, if you want to do a good excursion, Hideaway Beach is an adult beach. No, they're not running around butt naked. That would be nice. Even though some of the ladies, questionable. However, so anyhow, you go there, you pay like $80 a person or something, 100. I can't remember exactly, but we the food is free. The drink, well, you paid for drinks, but there was shrimp and fish and burgers and just some everything to eat. Watermelon, pineapple, just eat to your heart delight. There was a swimming. There was a pool, a heated pool, okay, with a DJ jamming with a swim up bar, and then me and the wife opted to go down on the sand. There was the regular normal beach, which is everything's right there, co-located, and we just hung out there at the beach a bit, and on the plenty of umbrellas. I mean, you're not gonna be hurting for like I need an umbrella, space to sit. There's chairs galore with umbrella. You can just kick back there. Now, trying to get up around the pool area, some of you guys might be ballers and want to go get that cabana for $2,500. Have at it. Not yours truly. No. I paid the $80 and went down to the sand, and that was just fine. Okay, that was just fine. So yeah. So like I said, that was day three. Okay, so this is day three. After we got back on the ship from Cocoa Bay, again, our usual routine: dinner, a show, hit the casino at 11. Got on the table, and it was a friggin' bloodbath. It was brutal. Okay, in my notes here that I wrote at the time, okay, I fucking sucked. Okay, it was PSO City. No matter what I did, no matter what adjustment, I went from kissing threes to the all winner set. I tried the all seven set. I tried my 2-3-6-3. Normally I double pitch the top die. Nothing wouldn't work. Every time I touched the dice, it was like fucking radioactive out with PSO, and that kind of pissed me off. So not pissed me off, but you just get in your own head. It's like a kicker when he shanks one, then the next one he shanks the next one, and then he just gets in his own head. That was me. So anyhow, however, there was a few decent shooters on the table that night, and that saved my ass, because I had I had bought in for 200, and I literally had got all the way down to the pit boss was messing with me about this. He said, "You were down to your last $5. I saw you. You had one chip left for $5, and look at you. You're coloring up 800." I said, "How about that?" Because you know what? I pressed the hell out of those bets. I was like, okay, you know what? I said, if I'm not shooting well, but then I realized these guys are shooting well, bet, and press, and focus on betting, and something I don't do focus much on others anyhow, but it worked out. It worked out. I focused on them other guys, and I was able to, like I said, call it up for 800 that night. So that was day three. Day four, Tuesday, I made a few adjustments since I was trying to figure out why the hell my shot isn't falling correct. What's going on? I made an adjustment, held the dice for let's see. What was the adjustment? Is the adjustment on here? Yeah. Okay, so the adjustment that I made that night, okay, that I quickly found out was I had changed shoe. Okay, I know this sounds a little kind of fucking trivia, okay, nonsensical, but that night after we had went to the show, I when we went back to the room and got changed up. Normally, I would come downstairs uh, wearing my Skechers, okay, and look at the sole. You know, it's Skechers. Everybody's familiar with Skechers. Nice big thick heel, okay, and they're very comfortable. However, at night I had went down, or the night before I had went down in my, these are cold hand, okay, cold hand shoes. Look like sneakers, very comfortable, but not as comfortable as the Skechers. And look at the heel in them Skechers, okay, which actually gives me a little bit more, just a little more elevation. And actually, when I'm at home, I practice in these. What does Ed say? Practice like you play, play like you practice. Hello. So anyhow, I changed my shoes. Okay, I changed my shoes that night when I went down on the table on the fourth night. Since the third night, like I said, was a bloodbath. Couldn't get shit going. PSO City made okay. The adjustment was the shoes, and I held the dice for an hour plus. Had a 40 roller. Okay, had a 40 roll plus monster. Okay, again, I bought him for 200 and colored up for 1500 on the out. Okay, yeah, every night was a battle, man. And the main thing, the main set that I was using was the Kissing Threes, 2-6, 6-2, and you know, long as I was getting a 3 or 4 on one die, I was golden. And then when I started getting side numbers, too many side numbers, or if I seen a bunch of horn numbers start popping up, I would change and go to V sets, 3V, and then eventually, if the point was set, if I made the point, then I would change and go back to the kissing set and try to analyze what was going on. So again, I was trying to analytically think through what's going on with the dice. I know George from CY loves that type of shit because he does it every night. So, so yeah, that was Tuesday night. Okay, yeah. So in for 200, out for 500. Day 4. Okay. Let's see. So let's keep it going. Oh, okay. And as a footnote to my 40 roller, so here's the shit now. Listen to this. During my 40 roller, there was this one guy at the table. We had a packed table. All the good shooters and all this shit. And, you know, I bust out this great 40 roller. Everybody's high-fiving, making money hand over fist. And there's this one fucking guy at the end of the table. And all he's doing is betting big red. Okay, he might as well have bet the fucking don't. Okay, the don't passing, he would have been much better off. But he bet $50 big red for my whole 40 frigging roll. What a dumbass. Okay, everybody made a shitload of money. He's the only fool during a 40 roller sat there and kept on losing money over and over and over. I think he would bet the 6 and 8 every now and then, you know, but he always had $50 on big red. And I kindly obliged him by rolling numbers after numbers after number. And yeah, he paid daily. So there you go, you know. So, yep, and let's see. I'll go back to my notes here. Every night, hit the tail. Oh, yeah, every night. So every night when I showed up at the table, you know, everybody, you know, there was two tables. I'll go and look at one, and you know, folks would be like, "Hey, hey, there go the shooter. Hey, we got a spot right here for you. We saved your spot." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll be back." And I'll walk over and go look at the other table to see which one had less people. You know, whichever one had the least amount of people, cause I don't want to have to wait for the dice to go around. And if I went over to the other one, and it normally would the one of the tables only had like mainly two or three people on it, and there was this one lady. Oh, she had such a nice, beautiful little roll. She kind of just flicked her wrists out there. That lady made me some money. Of course, I made her some too, but she shot well. Okay, so yeah, I walk up to the table every night and they treat me like a rock star. There he is. Here comes the shooter. You know, and I'd be like, yeah, you can call me the Sarge. It was like, the Sarge. I like, as in sergeant. It was like, oh, the Sarge. I was like, yeah, okay. So, let's see. Yeah, let's see. After my 40 roller, the oh yeah. After my 40 roller, okay, which I got the dice in my hand right about 12 o'clock. No, I think about 12:30 or 1 o'clock. I got the dice in my hands and held them till after 2, about 2:15 or something like that. Went through about 3, 4 stick changes, and then the pit boss said, okay, last shooter. After I finally said now, he said, last shooter, then we shut the table down. One more shooter. And everybody said, I'm passing, I'm passing, I'm passing. It's like, give the dice back to him. The pit boss said, huh? Everybody said, give the dice back to him. So they gave the dice back to me, and I was able to eke out another little 15 roller. So then after that, they shut it down. So not bad for the night. Yeah, a 15 roller, and like I said, went to the cage and colored up 1,500. So in for 200, out for 15. So not too shabby that night. So all right, and we get down to, let's see, that was the Thursday morning. Thursday morning, I don't know what day that was, but went down to the tables after a usual, dinner and a show. Went to the table, bought in for 300. I had already decided that I was, gonna try to not like I said, my plan was to go into my envelope at the end and play at the 640 level, but hell, I was in profit. I was in deep profit, so I like, okay, if I don't have to risk it, I'm not gonna risk it. Why screw it up? So anyhow, I bought it for 300 that night. That was Thursday night, and for some reason, it wasn't the shoes. The chopper just wasn't flying right. The chopper was, I couldn't get the dice to cooperate. I think it might have been new dice. Sometime with new dice, I can't get my fingers on the cutting edge just the way I like to, and the dice just felt frigging strange. And when I applied spin to them, they was going all over the friggin' place. I was like, okay, yeah, not happening tonight. So that night, lost $300. That was Thursday night. I just like, okay, whatever. I was thinking, I'm still up for the trip, and the last night of the cruise was gonna be Saturday night, but I already had plans in my mind. Long as I'm up, I'm not gonna plan the last night of the cruise. So Friday night was really my last night of playing. So I was already up in profit, had a nice good bankroll still going, and I went and that night, Friday night, I went down to the table after our usual routine, bought in for 500, and just figure, okay, I'm gonna chill here on the table. I'm playing on house money. I got plenty up there in the safe, my money plus their money, so I'm good. And I bought in, and I go on another monster roll. Okay, I held the dice for another hour. Okay, and the let's see, yeah. So I get the dice. They come to me. I I start. Before that, I think they went to three other people. Three other people on the table. The table had thinned out a little. It might only been maybe about five of us on the table, and everybody's PSO, PSO, PSO. The dice came to me, and I go on a monster. I look, I everything was working. Everything was working. All my adjustments. I was reading the dice correct. Long as the kissing threes. Long as I was getting lots of hard ways, and I was pressing the hell out the hard ways. Hard sixes, hard eights, hard fours, hard five. I threw a shitload of hard ways. Okay, and I kept on pressing, and I think I had my eight, both six and eight. I had the six at 150 and the eight at 180. The 4 and 10 was at 100, and 5 and 9 was at 75. And I was just hitting numbers and racking and pressing and half pressing. And when I finally sevened out, the stick man looked at me. He said, "You know you've been shooting for right at an hour?" I said, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, you shot for an hour." I was like, "Damn." And okay, I mean, when you focus, you focus. You're in the moment. You're not thinking about how long you hold the dice. I'm just looking, my chip rack growing, trying to make sure I don't fuck up and do something stupid, making sure my grip is right, all the mechanics are in line, and luckily, the people that I was playing with on the table, no one was putting bets like they placed them in the field, but they would place them further up, so they kept the landing zone cleared for the shooter. That worked out perfect. So now here's the kicker. After I got finished rolling, everybody high-fived me. "Yeah, thanks, shooter. Oh man, you got me back to even, and I'm in profit and all that, and blah blah blah." Everybody took off and left right away. Okay, which incidentally I was about to do, but then this other guy that I had shot with the night before came to the table, what I want to say, he might have been a Hispanic guy or something, or no, he had an accent, I'm not sure, but anyhow, this guy, I said, I'm gonna stick around for his role. I start off at 66 inside. Guys, wouldn't you know it, this guy go on a friggin' monster. He holds the dice for an hour, and it's just me and him on the table. And a lady came at the last minute too and started asking me how to play and all this stuff. So I missed a couple of my key presses that I was supposed to be doing, but I was trying to help her with her betting. But dude killed it, and my hour roll was probably about a good 30 roller or so, 30 ish. Oh yeah, dude had a 38 roller. Okay, so he rolled for over an hour, and man, like I said, I colored up for bought him for 500, colored up for 1600 on the out. So left a shitload of money on the table, because again I was pressing and just hey, seeing where it would take me. So all that being said, that was Friday night. Okay, Saturday was gonna be a day at sea, and then was gonna be back in the Port of Galveston Sunday morning. Well, that Saturday night, I had already made up my mind. Hey, I am, I am in profit. I am up for the trip. I'm not giving them back shit. So I said, I ain't even gonna go downstairs and pass by the casino, cause if I walk through there and any of them guys see me, especially the ladies, they'll be like, hey, sorry, come on, man, I got your spot here, cause yeah. I'm like, no, and then you guys know how that story goes. You get on the table, and then you start giving it back slowly, and before you know it, you don't give all your profit back, and you're underwater. I was like, that shit isn't happening. I was like, by any means necessary, I'm gonna walk away with the win, even if it's a small win. Okay, so when I left the table at night, went to the cage, colored up 1600. Okay, so 1100 profit. Really bought him for 5. I was like, okay, good deal. That's it. Plus, I had some stash in the safe, so good. Went to the bar, and I was looking for some of that blue label, the top shelf shit, but they didn't have any. So, well, they had Johnny Black. Okay, they had not just Johnny Black, double black. I never seen that shit. Johnny Walker double black. Cause all along I was drinking Johnny Black, but there was double black. I was like, hey, let me get a double shot of that double black. And yeah, I sat there at the bar, chilled out. I was like, all right, not bad. Then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna get me a little something as a parting shot across the bow. I was like, tomorrow I'm gonna go down to the gift shop before I head off the ship. And I had went out there and I down this watch. Look at this watch that one of the guy was trying to get me to buy. I was like, yeah, and I was like, okay, if I make some money, I'll come back and get the watch because I really like the watch. So guess what? So don't know how well this will show up on cam, but I went and picked me up a nice little departing shot across the bow of the compliments of Casino Royale. That's a Tissot chrono. Okay, it's a pretty cool watch. It's rose gold, and yeah, I don't know. Let's see, does that show up on there? So yes, I did give him back right about $600, for the watch. But you know what? No issues. When it's done with house money, it feels great. So yeah, all that being said, man, guys, this trip was I fought a lot of battles in there. Okay, I fought a lot of battles, and in the end, I won the war. Small victory, because what they say at the Motel 6, yeah, they'll keep the lights on. I'm sure they will. They expect me back, and they're gonna try to take it away. But at least on this one here, I walked away. So, as a closing note, total profit made on this trip was 3,000. Okay, ended up breaking off the wife, my banker, a G. Okay, and I took 2, and so you know what they say, her money is her money and your money is her money and all that shit. So I don't even count that. I walked away with 2G, gave her a G, and yeah, life is good, man. This was an epic trip. I just wanted to share that with you guys, and hey, I will say this: anyone who wants to get on a real nice cruise ship, Harmony of the Sea is real nice, real nice. it's so freaking huge that you'll forget you're on a ship. But it's beautiful. And yeah. All right, this has been Sarge, and that's been my trip report. Stay safe, my peeps. Sarge out.